Hey guys, here's your assignment for the week of April 6th. This assignment will be due by Friday, and it's a long-term week-long assignment. You can do it at any point during the week. Just submit to me a photograph of yourself holding up a letter that you have written. So you're going to open up Photo Booth. You're going to open up the camera. And you're going to take a picture of yourself while holding up a letter. Let me explain. You finished the iSearch, you finished the reflection letter. We've done all kinds of work for the research project. Today, or this week's assignment, is about kind of making the world a little bit nicer, a little bit better. In the fall, actually it was right before winter break, we sat down and we wrote a letter in class to a person we cared about. I glanced at it from a distance the way I do your free writes. I didn't read it. It's personal. It's not for me. It was for somebody else. So we're going to be doing that again. That's your assignment for this week. Hopefully you can bring a little brightness to someone's life in the world by mailing this letter. I'm going to read to you the assignment as I read it to you back in December. And I'm going to ask you for a few particular guidelines. Pay attention to a couple of moments. It's not going to take too long. So I've abridged this a little bit. Here's what Garrison Keillor said about writing a letter. We shy persons need to write letters now and then, or else we'll dry up and blow away. It's true. And I speak as one who loves to reach for my phone, dash off a text. Texting and emails are to shyness what Hawaii is to February. It's a way out of the woods, and yet a letter is better. Such a sweet gift, a piece of handmade writing in an envelope that's not a bill. They don't need to be immortal, just sincere. You're someone I care about, Corrine, and I think about often, and every time I do, you make me smile. So a shy person sits down and writes a letter. To be known by another person, to meet and talk freely on the page, to be close despite distance, despite social distance. To escape from anonymity and be our own sweet selves and express the music of our souls. A blank, white, 8x11 sheet can look as big as Montana if the pen's not so hot. So try a smaller page, write boldly, or use a note card with a piece of fine art on the front. If your letter ain't good, at least they get the Matisse. Grab a pen that makes a sensuous line. Get a pencil. Use a felt tip, whichever feels easy to the hand. Now there's the introduction. I'm going to ask you to pause here until you're ready to write. Get out a piece of paper. Get out what you want to write on. I'm going to write my letter on this yellow lined pad. I like lines. I write pretty sloppy if I don't have the lines. Maybe yours is a card. Maybe yours is a blank sheet of paper. Maybe it's the backside of a takeout menu. It can be whatever it wants to be. If it is something personal, if it's got a coffee ring stain on it, that makes it that much more real to the person who's receiving it, that much more tangible. This isn't an email or a text. This isn't the impersonal font choice. This is your handwriting in ink or pen or pencil, felt tip marker. It's going to be organic and a part of who you are extended onto the page. So when you're ready to write this letter, pick up the video here. Okay, you're all ready to get going. I expect you to spend a good amount of time on this letter, but I'm not going to prescribe the amount of time. 20 minutes minimum, I would say. You could write for as much as an hour. We wrote for 45 minutes in class that day. That's a good amount of time, I think, because if you plan on having 45 minutes and you've written for 15 or 20, but you've got more time, you come up with more to say. It's like free writing. You kind of get to that other part of your brain, that next piece, deeper down in, a little bit more honesty, a little more pure, a little bit more, a little less reserved, a little less careful once you get to that point. Anyway, here's Garrison Keillor's advice on how to do it. And I think this advice works best when you are ready to get going. So now that you're ready to get going, here we go. Sit for a few minutes with a blank sheet in front of you and meditate on the person you will write to. Let your friend come to mind until you can almost see her or him in the room with you. Remember the last time you saw each other and how your friend looked and what you said and what perhaps was unsaid between you. And when your friend becomes real to you, start to write. Write the salutation, "Dear you." and take a deep breath and plunge in. A simple declarative sentence will do, followed by another and another. Tell us what you're doing and tell it like you're talking to us. Don't think about grammar. Don't think about literary style. Don't try to write dramatically. Just give us your news. Where did you go? Who do you see? What did they say? What do you think? If you don't know where to begin, start with the present moment. I'm sitting at a kitchen table on a Tuesday afternoon. I'm getting run down with all this nothing. Let your simple description of the present moment lead to something else. Let the letter gently drift along. The toughest letter to crank out is one that's meant to impress. We all know from writing job applications. If it's hard work to slip off a letter to a friend or a relative, maybe you're trying too hard to be terrific. A letter's only a report to someone who already likes you for reasons other than your brilliance. Take it easy. Don't worry about form. It's not an essay. When you come to the end of one episode, just start a new paragraph. You can go from a few lines about the sad state of pro football to your fond memories of Mexico to your cat's urinary tract infection, and just a few thoughts on personal indebtedness onto the kitchen sink and what's in it. Just get behind the pencil and press on the gas. Don't tear up the page and start over when you write a bad line. Just try to write your way out of it. Make mistakes. Plunge on. Let the letter cook along and let yourself be bold. Outrage, confusion, love, whatever's in your mind. Let it find a way onto the page. Writing's a means of discovery, always. And when you come to the end and write, yours ever, hugs and kisses, you'll know something you didn't know when you wrote, Dear Pal. Probably your friend will put the letter away, and it'll be read again a few years from now, and it will improve with age. And 40 years from now, your friend's grandkids will dig it out of the attic and read it, a sweet and precious relic of the pandemic of 2020 that gives them a sudden clear glimpse of you and her and the world we old-timers knew. You will then have created an object of art. Your simple lines about where you went, who you saw, what they said, will speak to your children, and they will feel in their hearts the humanity of our times. You can't pick up a phone and call the future and tell them about this time. You have to pick up a piece of paper. Good luck. Remember that you matter to a lot of people, and that by being who you are, you're going to improve someone's life when they receive this.